But
Yeah.
yeah, like it's kind of odd to think about whenever I think about this is, we've been watching StarCraft for so long that you don't realize how much time has passed, right? And how the era of soO with his second places and how often he had gotten second place, like that was quite a long time ago now.
It was.
Yeah.
The last GSL finals he made it to was in 2017. Like,
Jesus Christ, I thought it was in 2018 at
World.
least. Oh God. But yeah, that's kind of like what we know him for. That's kind of what we think about. We think about him with all of his GSL finals, like second places. But yeah, it has been a while since then, and I feel like we have a habit, like the StarCraft community have a habit of like remembering these things and
Narrative,
kind
yeah.
of yeah,
Like
and kind of
remembering
like
which narratives, or these sort of narratives that are easy to remember or entertaining or whatnot,
yeah, and
that
that's
aren't
kind of
necessarily always true.
yeah, and that's kind of what we assign to someone, and that's what they're labeled as. But even if that doesn't necessarily hold true nowadays, right?
Holy fuck.
What?
They
What?
were about to play and Crank was in the spot instead of soO. But you know what? If TV can make the mistake, I can see why Solar makes that mistake. I wanted that. Who canceled at the last second? It was Crank, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. But yeah. So it's definitely interesting to think about because like I do that as well. Like not just with soO with second place, but like
Yeah.
Cure as well. Like I don't think as highly of him anymore because for the longest time he was very much so a mid tier Terran. And yeah, and then the others were.
It took me to. I kind of feel that way, but instead of with Cure, it was with Trap. It took me so long to finally.
I still think that way about Trap.
It took me so long to finally. I don't want to say get comfortable with, but finally get used to the fact that Trap is one of the top players nowadays.
Yeah.
Arguably in that spot, in contention for top Protoss player.
I don't think so. I feel like
you don't think so just because you want to start beef with Gemini. We really be here like
I feel like that's you.
Beef with Gemini.
I feel like that's you assigning that to Trap because I feel like Trap hasn't been in the state of top Protoss in like at least 6 months. Yeah, it's one of those things where once the player gets to like an echelon, like once they get to a level, like you always think of them at that level, right?
Exactly.
It was the same with Solar, right? Like until really recently, Solar was underperforming like crazy, right? Like we were talking about how like, oh, how's Solar gonna do? And then when we thought about it, it's like,
but we still considered him to be favorites because, as that old quote goes, form is temporary, but class is permanent. That's why I think, that's why I think that we always think of players who prove themselves as top tier, but. Anyway, we should probably get on with it. Here gonna be spawning in on Pillars of Gold, LE. It's what holds up the golden wall. Where in the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have a red Zerg. I want to say supports StarCraft 2 with the war chest, but now I think about it, the classic hatchery is not actually out yet. So I think it might be a bug. Currently teamless, but representing clan into the clan, we have Sola.
What is this hatchery? What is
It's a brute war hatchery.
It's something looks wrong about it, right?
Is it the resolution?
It looks off, right?
It looks HD.
No, it doesn't. It looks like it's missing polygons, right?
It looks more like they took the aesthetic of the original one, right? But instead of adding pixels, they sort of airbrushed it.
Is that a bug, or is that what it's meant to look like?
I think what the bug is, I think, is just the fact that the classic hatchery is out there, because I don't think the classic hatchery is unlockable yet. The classic command center is.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold, LE, we have the Korean Zerg player representing Afrika Freaks. It is soO.
Oh, Kuro's putting in the possibility that Solar might have selected it for Game Heart. Because it might already be out for for that sort of thing, right? For custom games is what I mean.
Oh my!
You just can't use it on ladder.
It looks like a hatchery that's like melted in the sun. Like what is?
It's like a grilled cheese hatchery.
It's like the hatchery was made of like ice cream originally, and now it's just like drooping away. It's
like a burnt pizza with all of the tomato sauce coming out.
Yeah.
It kind of, no, I don't want to put that in your head, because I'm already grossed out thinking about it.
You know what, Curry? Just take us away from this hatchet. Take us away. We don't want to look at this.
I was going to say it's like a wound, but, yeah, I refuse to go into more detail than that.
Yeah, this is much better. This is great. Look at that. Look at that hatchery.
Look at that. It's spiky. It's solid. You know, it's actually standing up. It's like it has a backbone.
It's fully erect, if you will.
That it is.
And that's what you want. That's what you want in a hatchery. Yeah, none of this semi, none of this flaccid. Like, this is like a solid hatchery. It's beautiful.
What about a semi?
Nah, none of that. Get out of here with
this. Get fully erect.
Look, you either commit or you don't, okay? It's one or the other. And, yeah, we're getting into this ZvZ. So far, it's been pretty passive. Both players, they did go for their third bases pretty quickly. And I do believe, yes, they both went for those safety banelings as well. And kind of surprising, when we typically go into a ZvZ like this, one player typically tries to deny the third base of the other. But so far, they've both been pretty defensive.
Now, is that an actual thing, or is that just a cast a demi so much thing?
It could be a demi thing. It could not be.
Snipes that baneling, and now soO was looking to put on some pressure. Denied.
And there we have it. soO is the first to go for that lair. And what is this lair going to be for, Yaku?
I want to say Galaro Constitution. Forget about what the lair is going to be for, Light. What is the lair going to look like?
Oh, look at it.
Skin.
It's crazy in the main base. Oh my god. What is...
I actually kind of like that.
It looks better
like
because it looks less melted.
Spikes are massive.
They're not spikes though. They're like they're round on the edges.
They're not really spikes, but like, you know, the claws, if you will.
Again, it looks like a depressed hatchery.
It kind of does, but it's depressed, and so it's trying to overcompensate with the claws.
It's just so down on itself. Oh god.
Or no, you know what it actually is like? It's very heavy, but it's unbalanced. It's just kind of collapsing on itself.
What are you trying to say, Yaku?
It's kind of like a tent, you know, if you don't pitch the tent correctly.
It's exactly what it is. It's like a
mouth. Or if you build a fort, or like if you just build a building but you don't balance it right, it's gonna collapse in on itself. It's gonna implode.
Let's hope that this is not what the finished product looks like. Let's hope this is a work in progress.
It's not the hive yet, so.
Yeah, we'll see. And
that's
again, like so far, both players going Ling, Bane. We haven't really seen them do too much to each other. And yeah, as you were saying, there's the Nidus. There's the Nidus, as that was what soO was going for with that faster lair.
Interesting. All right, we'll see how this plays out. Usually when the Zerg player marches across the map with Nidus like this, it's not really meant for multi-prong, it's more for a reinforcement point, but we do see Solar going straight into soO's main. And this is a multi-prong. The heart of soO's army, or the meat of soO's army. Most of soO's army is here dealing with the front lines. And Solar with a slight army supply lead can actually take full advantage of that.
Yeah, and the roaches are heading into the main base, but nicely done. There were already roaches here preemptively for soO, looking to defend that main base, and more and more roaches are coming in. But with the Ravagers, oh my god, he takes the biles, and it looks like soO, with the reinforcements, is there enough here for soO to break soO?
May be just enough. There is a defender's advantage, but it is going to take a while for these roaches of soO to get into position. Unlike Solar, who is about to finish this. And this hasn't ended yet in the third base either. Now soO forced to pull the drones, and I mean, it can definitely help out, but seems like way too much firepower here from Solar. 10 drones already taken out. I think we're about to see a 1-0.
Oh my god, yeah, just too much damage has been done, and there it is.
And with that, Solar, being a little bit cheeky, takes that first map. I'm hoping soO is gonna follow my lead here and just like Pillars of Gold for eternity now.
We'll see. As yeah, the game was honestly pretty passive up until the point of that Nidus. You know, both players were just kind of macroing up. soO, he was investing a lot more into Ravagers, which did mean that his and drones as well, which did mean that his army was smaller than Solar's. Solar was able to take advantage of that with that Nidus kind of pulling soO apart, and yeah, that was really well played.
It was a slow burn, to say the least.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess for a while I thought soO was doing a really good job of splitting up that army, but
yeah.
You can kind of see how when you sort of lose ground on one front, it can really snowball like that.
Yeah, part of me thinks that, especially in the main base, because soO was holding fairly well, and he had a bunch of Ravagers, maybe it would have been good to try and bile down the Nidus and try and stop that, so then no more reinforcements could come in. At the same time, like it's hard to tell because soO, his biles were actually landing pretty well on the army of Solar, so yeah, it's kind of hard to say which way he should have gone with that.
Yeah, tough call to make there.
Mm.
Maybe getting the Nidus like would prevent reinforcements from coming in, and then soO would have a bit of breathing room, right, to just clear that out. But you know, who knows, really?
Yeah, it's definitely, it was definitely very difficult, and yeah, soO, he was just pulled apart.
Yeah, soO is also going to be playing Terran this game.
Oh my god.
Okay, it leaves at the last second.
These guys need to calm down. Like, look at what's happening. God damn it.
They just want to go fast.
I get it, but like Solar, you don't need to play against Yogo. It's
at least soO and Crank were kept their separate identities this time.
Oh god. So yeah, speaking of which, Gaming did join us. I think it was halfway through the tournament they joined us. So
yeah, Yogo being the representative there.
Yogo, of course, being Funka's apprentice, his boy.
Not to be confused with his other boy, that being Clem. I don't think that's actually. And speaking of which, we are now all living in an LE submarine. LE submarine. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. We have the Blues, this time without a depressed hatchery. We are looking at our player coming down all the way from land of Korea. He is representing Into the Clan and playing for currently teamless, so team owners, keep an eye out for him. We have Solar. Panel.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the Korean Zerg player representing Afrika Freaks. It is soO.
Alright, what are we going to see this time, Light?
So far, both players have both gone hatch gas pool, which honestly has become pretty standard amongst pro play. I feel like the big question is, and honestly, this is pretty surprising, especially on Submarine, right? Like, no one went for an early pool. Everyone is just, you know, confident with their more macro play. I'm kind of curious, Yaku, do you think at any point in this series are we going to see an early pool?
Yes. Next game is going to be for Solar.
Solar's going to do it.
Solar's going to be the one to do it. soO, when has soO ever gone for the early pool plays?
I believe it was back in 2016 or 2017 when Katz was mentoring him.
Ooh.
It's quite some time ago, and Yeah. Honestly, I agree. I feel like solar's probably the more likely one to do that. But yeah, again,
It could be that, Light. It could be that solar is the more likely player to go for the early pool, but we were talking about it earlier. It's been a narrative that soO is a mid-game player. Going on for, and I peddle that narrative a lot myself, but yeah, it's to be determined.
Yeah, we will see. As so far, both players, again, they're playing this pretty much the same, both going for their third bases. One difference being that Solar does have 2 Lings out here, being annoying, just chipping away at the base, not really doing too much, just, you know, kind of forcing a little bit of micro out here from soO.
Hey, you never want to make your opponent comfortable. Or rather, okay, what I should say rather is, if there's a possibility for you to make your opponent even slightly uncomfortable, and I'm not talking about uncomfortable and uncomfortable, I'm just talking about, like, you know, a little bit annoyed, like, oh, I have to do this now, like, god damn it. Go for it.
Yeah, it's not like you're making like a socially uncomfortable situation where people don't want to be there. You're talking about,
exactly.
Yeah.
I know all about doing that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've met you.
It's like, I know.
Oh god, and here we have it. Solar is flooding more Lings across the map, and I was talking about this earlier, where typically we see this dance where one player is trying to deny the third base of the other. Meanwhile, Banes have just spawned in for soO.
Yeah, and that's going to be enough of a deterrent right now for Solar. And this is something that I actually find really interesting about this map here. Like, it's this sort of circle that goes around the...
yeah.
That sort of separates the natural and the third base. You can very easily rotate around.
Oh yeah,
go for
definitely.
The third, do I go for the natural?
And that also goes to show that you have to be on point with your baneling placement. Make sure you have some in your natural and your third base, just in case they do rotate. Another big difference is that soO did go for his safety baneling nest, which is pretty standard, but Solar did skip his baneling nest, went right into a Roach Warren, which is why he already has roaches being morphed in, as soO is only just now finishing up his own Roach Warren.
That he, in fact, is. We do see that soO now kind of overtakes Solar in the army supply count, but that is deceptive, as a lot of that are currently in production, these 8 roaches. Solar isn't really, you know, what's the term to go for? He's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah,
he's not going straight for the kill.
Well, yeah, again, like what he did was he skipped that baneling nest when he spent his gases on the Evo chamber and the early Roach Warren instead. So that does mean that Solar will be ahead in upgrades as the game progresses in this Roach v Roach scenario.
But soO isn't looking to make it a Roach v Roach scenario though. Like, he is going for that that sort of old school style of Roach Ling, and I say old school, but I think it's actually more recent.
Yeah, he's actually flooding quite a lot of Lings. 14 Lings are on the way, so soO looking to try and support his roaches with heavy Lings, and this can definitely work. You know, Lings can soak up a lot of roach hits as the actual main army of soO like just continues to deal damage behind that. And there we go, the Lings are coming in.
Crash. Yeah, the Lings are looking to get those surrounds, but not quite getting what they want. They are preventing Solar from getting that perfect concave that he would have had otherwise. But now, I think soO might have just lost a little bit too much momentum here. We do see reinforcements starting to come in. The Baneling do soften up the roaches a little bit, but soO cannot capitalize on this. He is starting to bring the roaches out of position, but he cannot surround them as easily as he could have a minute ago.
Yeah, and with that, Solar is looking to hold immaculately, reinforcing with more roaches. +1 range is about to finish up pretty soon as well for Solar, and oh boy, that was rough.
At the end of that, soO was ahead of Solar by 20 army supply. At the end of that, the tables were completely turned. soO had lost so much there.
Yeah, and again, it goes to show how, as you were saying, how deceptive that army supply was. So many of that were in Lings, and the Lings just really didn't deal too much damage at all there.
Not at all. And it's quite a bit of a shame, because I really like this sort of Ling Roach composition when you're facing sort of Roach Ravager. The idea is to, you know, surround your opponent's roaches and make sure they can't kite and whatnot, but yeah, it didn't really work out there. And now Solar, I think, this has way too much momentum on his side. The Biles are looking pretty good here for soO. but in the end, it's not looking like it's going to be enough. soO should be going up to match point. GG is called. And there we have it. Like, he is so in form lately.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we were talking about it going into this, he did go all the way to the ace match against soO of all people, the world champion. So that does go to show how good soO ZvZ is.
I'm nodding along here.
And yeah, soO, we'll see if he can get a point on the board. Like again, he's been going for these pushes, which I do like. I do appreciate what he's been doing, but it just hasn't been working against soO.
Yeah, not at all, which is kind of interesting because in both of these games, soO, I don't know, it's the role of the aggressor and the defender, I guess in ZvZ does swing around quite a bit, but soO, based on how he's opened up, it seemed like soO wants to play more reactive, wants to play more of that style of, I'm going to be safe in the early game, and then once we transition to the mid game, I am just going to poke around, see what I can get done, and I kind of feel like he's tunneling a little.
Yeah. I do definitely think that. I think it's been the tale of the tournament where soO hasn't really been scouting that often, so it's been difficult for him to really know what his opponent's doing to be able to, respond accordingly and adjust the way he's playing.
Yeah, let's see if he adjusts it this time with that scout. But that is still to be determined, as whoever was playing tournament map bingo, congratulations, we do get all 7 maps here today in this. Wait, I'm just gonna double check. Yep, those 2. We got those 2. Two. Yep, all 7 maps here yeah, that's definitely interesting. Here we are. It looks a little bit, and to that later in the right-hand corner of the map, spotting in the right side of the golden wall, held up by the pillars of gold, we have the Blues coming down all the way from the land of Korea. He is currently teamless, but will be representing Clan Into the Clan. He has been going up and down quite a little bit, but in the recent months, and especially tonight, he has looked like a monster. I think he's about to tie up with his nemesis here, Light. We have soO.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Golden Wall LE, we have the Korean Zerg player representing Afrika Freaks. It is soO.
The Madman, Light.
Oh my god. I was about to say, like, I'm honestly very surprised that Golden Wall was picked as map number 3. I'm not too sure how the veto process worked. I'm not too sure who picked it, but soO taking full advantage of this map.
I think soO picked it. Funnily enough, as they go A, B, A, B, A, B, and I do believe soO was A in this case.
Oh god. And we do see soO scouting all of this, so he does know that this base has been taken. And I'm curious to see if soO is going to do what Serral did. I'm not too sure if you're familiar with this, but Serral, I believe, on this map against soO, he did mine out the minerals in the middle.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a beautiful play.
Yeah, so he did get roaches, ravagers even. He mined out the middle, and then he got on the other side of the golden wall.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, it was soO, you said, who played this against Serral?
Yeah.
Yeah, soO could really do nothing. If he stayed there mining, those were dead drones. If he moved away from the mining, he's losing income.
Yeah,
so that was something that was so genius. I remember it still.
Yeah.
I don't remember much.
This is accurate. So we'll see if soO incorporates that here. The only reason I know about this is because we casted a ZvZ earlier today and it happened, and Yoda Slim was informing me about what this was that we were seeing.
Alright, well, I watched that, but I just don't remember who played it.
Yeah, it was soO versus Serral. And yeah, we'll see how we go, as we do have a lot of league bait coming out here.
Aggression. The Banelings do not trade too well. So far, soO actually taking quite a substantial lead here. Twice the army supply, and is this going to be it here for soO?
Oh my god, the Banelings get in!
The Banelings do manage to get in, and soO is just trading Lings for Banes, and soO just has more and more. The golden base is starting to go down. Very nice around here with the drones, but soO is just losing so much. Is this going to be it, Light?
Oh my god, more Banelings come in. 9 workers have gone down so far. There's still more Banelings here for soO, and soO, he's just continuing to hammer in. And to be fair, if soO is able to hold here, he can just gain an advantage by mining at the gold base. But so far, oh my god, he just continues to lose more and more workers.
Absolutely, that's a massive if. Every time soO, I feel like soO is trading a Ling for a Ling, but soO is just losing more and more and more.
Okay.
soO is all in at this point, but soO is still redroning.
That he is, and soO is able to get more and more kills. More Banelings do hit.
He took a gamble and he lost there, Light.
Oh god.
Tried to snipe that egg before it hatched, but owie.
Oh my god, is this how he's gonna go down? Like,
I hope not, but it is. GG is called in the end. Your champion for ESL Open Cup Pro Tour Asia is gonna be soO. Finally tying him up back in terms of championships with Zest. And if he's gonna be continuing to compete in this form though, Light, I think he's gonna overtake that and beat the record, be the first one to beat that record.
Yeah, GG, well played. soO is able to take the win 3-0 over soO, and oh my god, especially that last game, like soO, he went for this incredibly greedy opener, taking that gold base, and he should be knowing that, like, you know, soO is going to do something about it. He did scout it, and he didn't do anything fancy. He didn't mine out the minerals. He didn't go to the other side. He just went straight Ling Bane.
That he did. soO has, I guess, played against this build enough that he decided, nope, I'm gonna nip it in the bud right now.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair,
can't be dealing with that.
Yeah, soO, he was trying to combat that. You know, he had Ling Bane of his own. It was just he was just kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah, it yeah, I don't want. I mean, yeah, he just traded kind of poorly, and
yeah,
it's not. I'm gonna be quoting you a lot here. This one line that he said early in this class. This is not meant to happen. At least we don't expect it to happen. Not from soO.
We don't expect it to happen at this high level of play where, you know, you just open greedy and then Ling Bane just completely catches you off guard. To be fair, I don't really recall any like major connections. It was just like consistently like a couple workers here, a couple workers here. Like it just, yeah.
I remember the final Baneling connection onto the Lings though.
Yeah, true. That is true.
soO tried to take that. Yeah. That's not quite pulling a Mio Micah, but it is still taking a gamble and losing.
Yeah, it's always difficult whenever you pounce on top of a morphing egg. You don't really know how far along it is in morphing into a Baneling, and yeah, that was kind of the nail in the coffin there. And soO once again is able to, I say once again, he's able to take another one of these victories, and soO once again with that second place.
Do you think that he's just doing it for the memes?
I don't think
he's
so.
Like, yeah, probably not.
I wouldn't want to like disrespect the player enough to be like, oh yeah, like he's losing on purpose. Like no, like he's trying his best, and
he is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely a little bit heartbroken here, but I am hoping that soO is gonna be. I'm hoping that soO doesn't take it. I'm hoping that soO doesn't feel too hopeless in a sense. I hope that he doesn't. I hope he's not thinking to himself, yeah, my last major tournament has already ended and got nothing but military to look forward to. I'm hoping that he'll be able to, you know, show us some really memorable games as a little bit of that last hurrah. But on the other hand, soO, we've been saying this for half a year, like privately, we've been saying this. soO just kind of looked like he fell off that ledge a little bit.
Yeah.
Now he's back in form. He's looking like an absolute beast. His GSL group, I believe, is coming up next week or 2 weeks from now, something like that. if this is an indication of anything to come, I think we might see Solar make some very deep runs in the upcoming months.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Solar taking out Zest, taking out soO as well. Like we can already see that 2 of his matchups are on point. One thing that we haven't seen much of is his ZvT, but again, like he's just looking so solid in the others, and yeah, that could be indicative of how he's going to perform in GSL.
Just nodding along. So yeah, a lot of exciting things to come in the upcoming weeks. So do stay your eyes tuned onto StarCraft 2, because there's a lot of content coming down.
Yes, and speaking of a lot of content coming down, if you are unaware, we have been casting all of the qualifiers for DreamHack. I say all of them, all of the Latin American, the NA, as well as the ANZ/C region qualifiers. They're all done. We finished them this morning. This morning was the last Latin America qualifier. And if you missed them, all the VODs are available on our Twitch channel. They will be available on YouTube over the next couple of weeks as we do edit and render and set them all up to be published. But yeah, like if you're a fan of StarCraft, like we have plenty of it. We're live so often nowadays, 7 days a week pretty much. And yeah, it's just, you know, it's not just Korean StarCraft here, it's almost all the regions. And you know, if you enjoy casting, give us a follow.
I agree.
What about you, Yaku? What about you, Yaku?
I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna be. I'm the one who is aware of all it. I'm supposed to be. Whatchamacalling it? Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. Turn a comment. Empora Yakuzaku. Exclamation mark Discord in the chat. Brings you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server where myself and the other members of CranKy are going to be around. Buy my shirts. Where can we find you, Light?
Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. You can follow me on the social medias if you want to see when I go live with a cast, but that is always here on the CranKy Ducklings. So follow us here, follow us on all the social medias as well. We have YouTube as well. We are live 6 days a week typically. Last week we were live 7 days a week with StarCraft, whether it's NA based, Latin American based, Southeast Asian based. We just have a lot going on, and actually in a couple of days we will have an unannounced tournament starting pretty soon. We will announce it shortly, probably tomorrow. It was something that was just organized a couple of hours before the cast, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm
very
excited.
Hype. It is. Yeah. Stay tuned for that announcement.
Indeed. And before we head off, if you want to check out the Pondcast, which we brought back after a 2-year hiatus, if you're interested in the Southeast Asian or Oceanic scene, then we do have a relatively short, it's an hour or so Pondcast talking about the region, talking about the players, and if you're interested, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, then do tune in. Next
one is going to be more well-rounded, though.
Next one is going to be Latin American-based.
Oh, yeah. Next one's going to be Latin American-based, and the one after that, we're trying to just condense everything.
Yeah, definitely. But, before we head off, of course, shout out to Kuro, a.k.a. 16th Squad Senseki. She has been our streamer and observer for the day. We really appreciate it, especially with...
Thanks for filling in.
Yeah, after the technical issues that we were having. It is a bit of a shame. I know that after we went offline and we went live, we lost a good chunk of viewers. It's a bit of a shame, but shout out to everyone who stuck around. We really appreciate it. Thank you again, M. Canning, for the raid. It was really great to see. We really appreciate it as well. Sorry about your run. I know that he was participating, but we really appreciate it.
I agree. See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow for ESL Open Cup Fuel by Dare.